Hi everyone, I'm Asha, an Akashic Records reader, blogger, and podcaster. In this series, we will demystify the Akashic Records by bringing to you bite-sized contents on frequently asked questions relating to the Akashic Records. We will also explore topics relating to spirituality, as well as practical application, learnings, and reflections in the Akashic Records. My Akashic Masters are very excited to join us in this journey. We send much love, light, and blessings to all. Welcome to episode 64 of Case Study 17 of Deep Clarity in Soul's Purpose and Choices in Life with Geraldine. Geraldine came to me for a themed Akashic Records session that I've co-created specially with my Akashic Masters. So these are the questions asked by Geraldine. On her first question, Geraldine asked, "What is Geraldine's life purpose generally?" The Masters shared that it is to motivate others in seeking deep fulfillment in their lives. On specific examples of how to motivate others, this could be volunteering opportunities, teaching positions, mentoring, and as a guide to others. For others that may have lost their way, or deep down very confused, lost, uncertain about their lives. You are here to help others to navigate their lives in a way better for them. Through that, they get out of the uncertainty they are facing. So they get more clarity, therefore a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in their lives. Geraldine shared that she is not in a teaching field. Checked if she can do this in her career, such as mentoring and giving guidance to her colleagues. The Masters clarified when they say teaching, it is not restricted to the teaching profession per se. We see it generally in all aspects of your life, how you can help others, and be of service to others. Your kind of motivation to others stems from this transfer of the existing knowledge within you that is valuable to you as well as to others. You are well placed to transfer that knowledge to others. So that helps you to be the teacher, guide, mentor, facilitator that they are sharing in this context. Geraldine asked how she can further pursue this in the current context. In the current work context, you are in a very privileged position to be able to encourage and motivate others to go about their lives, their work, their way of doing things. And you have the opportunity to transfer your knowledge and experience through life to others. So you are in a privileged position that others may not have, especially junior ones. They are inexperienced. They may feel unmotivated or even lost and confused. You have been through the journey and you have suffered through a lot of hardships and ordeals. So all these hardships become a valuable tool for you then to impart both that knowledge, experience, and endurance to others who may need it in the workplace. Geraldine shared that she has the opportunity to guide the newcomers but she feels overwhelmed and stressed as a responsibility. What are the root causes and how to better manage these? The root issue is because of a lot of expectations that you unknowingly placed upon yourself. Deep down, you are a high achiever and perfectionist, to the effect that you feel you cannot tolerate or condone errors or mistakes made on your part. So you often are very hard on yourself. At an even deeper level, we feel a level of unworthiness that we need to constantly prove ourselves and our competencies to others and the world. So we end up taking on these expectations even from ourselves or from others that we need to strive to be perfect. We need to strive to do well, do even better at the workplace. We cannot merely pass. We must aim for distinction and perfection. One mistake or error is far too much or great to be condoned. While we may not always impose such expectations on others, we impose them on ourselves. So we can be kind on others. It is fine, it is just a mistake. There are always lessons to be learned. You can come out stronger, more resilient. You can do better next time. When it comes to ourselves, then it becomes, how horrible of you to make the same mistake again. Why can't you learn from the mistake? Why must you repeat the mistake? Or why are you committing mistakes of a similar nature again? We are often very hard on ourselves. You need to learn to identify the expectations that you placed upon yourself unknowingly. When you identify that, you journal down, then you learn how to release. In the work situation, whenever you feel stressed, try to write it down through the process of journaling. You can write how your day went, how you feel stressed, and you go into the nitty-gritty details of the situation, the context, the details of what happened, how it unfolded that made you feel stressed. The whole idea is to translate what is in autopilot in the mind onto paper, so we know consciously, knowingly, that these are our blind spots. These are the expectations that we placed on ourselves. Then we look at it in context, like an observer. If someone else having this story that you have just written, how would you, as an observer, have reacted? For example, if a junior repeats to you this story that you have just written, how would you have reacted? But then in your case, how come there is this difference? Is it really necessary? How can you be kinder on yourself? All these endless expectations on yourself are not very necessary. Sometimes we feel that it fuels us. If we have all these expectations, we are very hard on ourselves, perfectionists, then we can ensure that our quality of work is, as far as possible, near the ideal 100%. But it doesn't work this way. To people who are often already very hardworking, very motivated, very hard on ourselves, we can afford to be kinder and lenient to ourselves. We can afford to talk to ourselves in a gentler manner. That you are good. This is good enough effort. Over time, what are you trying to achieve through all this? You are trying to move your mind out from autopilot into a very conscious state of mind. And you bring that conscious state of mind everywhere you go, even in the workplace. Every time you feel stressed, or at the onset of the feeling of stress, you can afford to pause and be a little open-minded. Pause, see this in context. I don't need to be so hard on myself. I can afford to be kinder and gentler, and the work will not compromise. In that way, you become your greatest supporter instead of your greatest critique. Right now, you are your greatest critique. You save your harshest comments for yourself. You can afford to have that latitude on yourself. How you treat others versus yourself in the same or similar way. Over time, you will feel much better, more satisfied. And you won't feel as if you're not aligned to your soul's purpose. Right now, you feel misalignment. Even though you are somewhat in the situation where you are striving towards your life's purpose. The thing is, it is not the external, it is the internal. How you treat yourself is the issue here, and all the expectations that you put on yourself. That needs deeper investigation. Give yourself 1 month through all the journaling. It is very tedious, but do it. Because when you do it, you force yourself to snap out from that repetitive, vicious cycles in the mind. Geraldine shared that while she will do things within the timeline, sometimes she doesn't have the heart to start, but eventually she will finish it on time. To which the master said, "You excel at the task you do. That's why you take a shorter time than others. But then you are often very hard on yourself. You feel that you could do more. You feel that you could have put your mind to better use. It is fine that you excel at your task. It is fine that you take a shorter time. Just use the break time or extra time to meditate if you can. Or even try to observe your breath if you can. To fully utilize your time for more meaningful experiences that you are trying to pursue. While you discharge your work responsibilities competently, excel at your task, and take a shorter time than others to fulfill it, you feel unfulfilled within. This is because you feel as if there's a gap, some emptiness in life that could have been put to better use. So use that idle time to meditate. You can try those guided meditations on Insight Timer. There are all kinds of meditations there to expand your mind on meditations. There's one that I follow sometimes on YouTube and Insight Timer. His name is Steve Nobel. If you like, you can tune into that and receive some clarity and healing that will guide you along the way. And you do have some starseed connections. So you are much more than this earthly existence that you embody right now. You're not just a normal person here to go through life, live, work, earn a living, and then die. Starseeds are people who originated from other planetary systems and come to Earth. You are one of them in your past lives. So there's much more meaning in your life in this lifetime that you are seeking for. That's the purpose of introducing you to guided meditations, and in particular to Steve Nobel's meditations on both YouTube and Insight Timer, to open your mind to your own starseed nature. You are more than your current existence. There's also a very narrow mind now, so you can afford to open your mind and explore. Just try with an open mind. It doesn't matter if you don't understand what he's saying or you don't feel in sync, but you can sense the energies. The energies don't lie. For example, how do you feel before and after the meditation? It should ideally at least bring you to a more peaceful, loving, and non-judgmental space within. It should make you feel more spacious within. Can you imagine if you spend 30 minutes of your life to invite in such energies? Then when you go back to your work, you will be in a much better, productive state and feel more creative to find new ways of doing the existing work, not just to fulfill the KPIs and work responsibilities, but how to generate better work quality, how to improve work productivity, how to cut out certain inefficiencies. You can fill up your mind with even more creative ideas. So that is a worthwhile pursuit for you. Through that, the whole process is to open your mind to who you are. Expand the possibilities in your nature of work. Over time, it will help you to see everything with new lenses. There will be a difference. You can still be at the same work, but with different emotions. How can you make the work you do even more relevant for yourself? How can I do it even better? How can I raise the productivity, cut off the inefficiencies, and focus on what really matters? Focus on cultivating the relations and connections that matter, that motivate me at work. That's what they're encouraging you to go towards. On the second question, Geraldine asked, why is she experiencing this physical pain now? Geraldine shared that she worked at this company for many years. But after that, she was so stressed out that it really burned out her body. She has health issues such as early menopause, allergy attack, which causes all her joints and muscles to be very stiff. As you rightly pointed out, the stress, and in particular, a lot of expectations that you take on for yourself and from others or society on you. It created a toll on your physical body. Over time, it escalated the symptoms of early menopause and even disruptions in the hormonal cycle, lymphatic system, and whatnot to trigger bouts of allergies. Therefore, meditation helps you to cultivate the lifelong peace and sanity within you that you badly need right now. It expands your heart and mind, and it also repairs your energetic bodies over time. And it will slowly heal the physical body. But the physical body is often the last to heal, so it will take a while. As shared earlier, the stress comes from a lot of expectations, both from yourself, how you treat yourself, and from others or society. You feel pressured to excel, to meet their expectations. You also feel pressured to excel, to meet and exceed your own expectations. So that amplified effect keeps you very stressed, even if it is unnecessary to do so. To others, it may just be a piece of work or assignment. Just do it and that's it. But to you, you feel the need to push yourself to perfection. For the idle time, others will just sip a cup of coffee or tea. But you feel the need to blame yourself that you are not utilizing the idle time to maximize your productivity. There's no need to be so harsh on yourself. For the idle time, you can afford to rest and relax a bit. When you're kinder and gentler to yourself, you can feel even more motivated and do your work with fresh perspectives to ensure better work productivity. It is a win-win for yourself and others. How can we help others to feel motivated when we feel unmotivated or even so harsh on ourselves? It is your innate nature and ability to motivate others. Transfer that knowledge, wisdom, and experience to them. But you have to be in a better state of mind to do so. Right now, the physical body is showing some disruptions, which translates to energetic disruptions in you as well. And that links back to your stress. That stress links back to the expectations you placed on yourself and the expectations you took on from others or society. Therefore, everything ties in together. Then, you need to go even deeper through journaling to write down and identify all these things that you keep saying to yourself. Write it down. You don't have to analyze everything. Just allow your emotions to flow. There's nothing to judge. It is not about incessant negativity. It is just about airing what is not aired. Write it down and as an observer to relook. That will help you in this whole situation. For each condition, anything that the masters can help with or suggest on. For the early menopause, the masters suggest to take up some form of exercise, like brisk walking in nature every morning or most mornings for 30 minutes. Morning sun is encouraged because afternoon sun can be quite toxic and damaging to the skin. Go out and have a walk. Go out to nature. Receive the sun and fresh morning air if possible. That will help you to improve your circulation in your body, get some endorphins or the happy hormones as they are known, and alleviate the symptoms of early menopause. So whatever toxins there are in your body, it has a higher opportunity of being flushed out because you are moving. Over time, it will also increase your metabolism. For the allergy attacks which result in stiff joints and muscles, you can do some yin yoga, slower paced yoga, where you focus on your major joints like your knees, shoulders, hips. You can try searching for full body yin yoga on YouTube. If you like, you can look out for the lady by the name of Cassandra. You can do this weekly, minimum, or as needed. Ideally, twice a week. For yin yoga, it goes deep into your connective tissues, so it will help to move the blood into the particular spot. For yin yoga, each pose usually holds for 3 to 5 minutes. Try to observe yourself and your breathing while you are doing it, instead of being caught up with all kinds of things around you. For people who are often hard on ourselves, we find it so hard to slow down and even to take care of our body. When we brisk walk, it is not about putting in the earpiece and forgetting that the purpose of our walk is to move our body, feel our body circulating, feel our joints moving, feel our intention to take care of and nourish our bodies. Before we do the walk, we can intend that I am doing this morning walk to take care of and nourish my physical body. So we hold that intention, go out and mindfully walk, enjoy the sun and surroundings. The same goes for yin yoga. When we play the yin yoga video, we watch the instructor guide the yin yoga steps. When we do it, we don't need another book or video nearby. Instead, we are checking in with our body. How do my shoulders feel after this move? How does my hip feel? Are my knees showing improvement after a few weeks? How's my allergies feeling after a few tries of the yin yoga session? That will help us feel much better overall. It also helps with observing the self over time. On the third question, Geraldine asked, is there anything she could do to overcome the sub-loss in the forex trading? Geraldine shared that currently she's learning to do forex trading, but she doesn't think she is successful. Sometimes when she does the simulation, the results are okay. But when she placed the real trades, somehow it keeps on sub-loss. Is there anything she could do to overcome it? To which the master shared there is impatience within you over the long-term investments. You are meant to cultivate long-term investments. Have the patience to see it to fruition. But along the way, as with all cycles of trading, it goes up and down. It fluctuates. And our heart also moves with it, up and down. And we feel disheartened or even depressed when it goes down. It feels like a perpetual downhill. The market is not showing any signs of improvement. Have we made an error in judgment? Could we have done it better? But they said the source of all this is just impatience. Because in the long term, you might have set your sights on a certain prediction or market trend. It is hard to predict in the interim when things go up and down, things fluctuate. That's when we just let things be. We don't have to be so hard on ourselves and try to control or wonder why we can't excel at this. Why are we so stupid that we can't even excel at this task of seeing through this investment and making it rise and shine like it did in theory? Why is it not showing the results as it did in theory? It is just impatience. So we need to examine that source of impatience within. Why are we not trusting ourselves to have made a correct, good, or better judgment in the first place? It is also part of the journaling that you can do. Where is this impatience coming from? What expectations have we been placing on ourselves? What have we been telling ourselves? 1 month, 2 months down the road, we expect things to go up when the long-term prediction is for years. Have we been too hard on ourselves? Geraldine shared that she wanted to do trading because she wanted the flexibility and to earn more money. Currently, she doesn't see the results and she feels very vexed. To which the master said the market will slowly recover. It just takes time. We need to have the patience to see through and the belief in ourselves. It ties back to the same message, to be our own greatest supporter. That once we have made that preliminary conclusion that this is the investment that I will go for, this is the prediction or the number of years I would like to hold on to it, then have the patience to see through and the belief in ourselves. Stop doubting ourselves in the interim when it goes up and down. We all know that the market fluctuates. Why be so hard on ourselves? Because it gives us the added pressure. Before you make the investment, you have done your extensive research before you put in your assets. Then why do you keep doubting yourself as the market goes on as it always does? On the final question, Geraldine asked, any messages that the masters wanted to say? Based on today's session, they encourage you to observe yourself henceforth. Observe what goes on in your thoughts, in your mind, in your speech. How you present yourself to yourself. others and society around you. That will be a very healing practice for you. Journaling, meditation, yin yoga, morning brisk walk. All these things are different permutations for you to observe yourself. The masters remind that you have your star seed origins. You have a very special divine spark in you, not to be taken for granted. You're here to guide others on the path. You're here to motivate, be a source of light. Therefore, you need to do more work on yourself. Through internalizing these current issues, you will grow as a person energetically and be of service to others. Next, we move on to the healing segment. Geraldine wanted the healing to focus on her physical health and emotionally to reduce stress. We went through a guided meditation where we called upon Geraldine's team of Akashic Masters, Lords of Karma, Archangels, Angels, guides and all pure light beings assisting her in her soul's journey to join us. We connected to the central sun, allowed it to flow down into our body, and anchored into the heart of Mother Earth. We set the intention to release all excess or unwanted energies that don't serve her or not align to her highest good, giving the permission to flush them out, including the release of all expectations taken on from others or placed on ourselves. We also ran the energetic commands for the Akashic light clearings and activations to assist Geraldine to deepen the healing and release on all levels of her being. The Akashic light clearings and activations, there's one set that focuses healing primarily on her physical body. There we ran the clearings and activations for the endocrine system to help her deal with her allergies, to balance the hormones in her body, and to send healing to the menopause issues that she's afflicted with, as well as the bouts of inflammation. On the emotional healing, we ran the Akashic light clearings and activations to remove fear, whether known or unknown to her, that she's ready to release at this stage. Releasing any issues on inability to trust herself, any judgments that she placed towards herself, allowing for a deeper release of the emotional issues within, as well as to help her to experience the unconditional love and compassion from the divine, to expand her heart space and to assist her to access the higher wisdom that she has within her, be it from the present life as well as from past lives through the experiences that she has been through. We also invited Geraldine's team of Akashic Masters to sweep her auric fields, clearing out all discordant or disruptive energies, patching all holes, rips and tears in her auric fields, removing as much things as possible that she has taken on from others, the expectations, the hooks and cords, whatever is meant to and ready to go, thereby inviting in more light, peace, love, and compassion for the self. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. If you would like to read about my dialogues and reflections with the Akashic Masters, you can visit my free blog at asha-akashicrecords.com. Till next time, take care.